Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to the With the Boys podcast, and welcome to the first episode of First Sides of the Boys podcast episode of 2023. And yes, this is the first episode of 2023, and we're in 2023 now, which is crazy to think about because 2022, in certain ways, it kind of like flew by, kind of didn't at the same time. But it was definitely a crazy year. It was a crazy year for my life personally, for my main channel, for the podcast too. I mean, 2022 was the birth year of the podcast. So me and KJ started the podcast in February, and we've been doing this for almost a year now. So next month, you guys will get a 1 year anniversary episode of the podcast. I believe on February 4th. Yeah. So stay tuned for that. That is 4 weeks from when this airs, so stay tuned for that. I think I might make that like a 2-hour special because that's gonna be like a milestone because we haven't missed a week yet of the podcast, so that's gonna be like a huge milestone. But anyway, so as you guys know, we take the first 5 minutes to talk about whatever, last 5 minutes to talk about whatever, and I want to address that we're here with our guest again. Say hi. And if you guys haven't seen her, she's actually been in a video of mine recently. Just been trying like introducing her and stuff like that. And that's on my main channel, so you guys can hit the link in the description and whatnot. And you guys might see like more future videos with me and her, like game videos, stuff like that. And since I'm back here in Florida, so that's freaking fun, I guess. And my birthday's next month. I turn 18, so we got some events coming up, which is freaking crazy. But yeah, so I'll address the topic for this week in a minute. But yeah, so just kind of addressing. We didn't film a podcast, well, last week specifically, just because everyone was busy. It was still the holiday season, and but I did put out an episode dedicated to the top 10 moments of 2022. I know you guys saw that. Just kind of just like looking back on what hell of a year 2022 was for the podcast. And I think I'm going to do that every year on the last episode of that year. So like on like the very last week of that year, I think I'm going to do that every year. It's like the top 10 moments of this year kind of thing. But that's what I did last week. Looks like a few of you guys enjoyed that. Just looking back, and we love our favorite moments. And of course, one of the most iconic moments is when we first started the podcast, because that's when it all kind of started. And I feel like the best moments are with me, KJ, and Hunter, just because the three of us are like kind of the workhorses of the podcast. Even though me and KJ aren't the OGs since we started it, but I mean, it's whatever. You guys have seen a lot of faces on the podcast. You guys have seen Zach. You guys have seen Kyra, which is KJ's sister. Who else have you seen? You've seen Jesse. Haven't seen Jesse in a hot minute though. And Jesse's one of like the first people we've had on the podcast too. He was the first person actually. And yeah, you guys haven't seen, other than that, you guys haven't seen too many faces on the podcast. I mean, Braylon, you guys have seen Kyler. Don't know what's going on with them, but I wish them the best, and hopefully maybe we'll see them in future podcasts in the future. Who knows? Yeah, so. Yeah, that's kind of all I want to address today, and I apologize if I sound a little groggy because I've got fucking sinus bullshit going on right now. I was completely fine when I was in Colorado, because the funny thing is, like, there's like a few people I knew that got sick because I think like the highest it got cold. It was like fucking cold too. It was like I think like the highest it got was like the highest and like cold, not the highest temperature, but you know what I mean. Like it was like maybe just 17, I think. Freaking nonsense, and I was happy to see the snow again finally, but then again I didn't really appreciate how cold it was, but it's typical Colorado, so but yeah, so she's giving me a face right now. What, do you want to say something?
This was negative 17. No, it was not. It was negative 20.
Oh, sorry, 3 degrees off. My apologies.
It was freezing.
Yes, it was freezing.
trapping.